Hey everyone, and welcome back to History of the Ancient World. Today we're journeying back in time to ancient China to explore the life and teachings of a figure whose influence has shaped East Asian culture for over 2 millennia. Confucius. His ideas on ethics, governance, and personal conduct became the bedrock of a philosophical system that would guide empires and inspire countless generations. So, who was this man? And how did his thoughts become so deeply embedded in the fabric of society? Confucius, or Kongqiu, was born in 551 BC in the state of Lu, which is now modern-day Shandong province. He lived during a tumultuous period known as the Spring and Autumn period, a time of political fragmentation and constant warfare among competing states. The old Zhou dynasty's authority had crumbled, and society was in a state of moral decay and social chaos. It was against this backdrop of disorder that Confucius developed his philosophy, which was fundamentally a quest to restore harmony, stability, and virtue to society. Unlike many other great thinkers, Confucius didn't see himself as an innovator. Instead, he saw himself as a transmitter of ancient wisdom. He believed that the early Zhou dynasty represented a golden age of peace and order, and he dedicated his life to studying and reviving its cultural and ethical traditions. He wasn't trying to create something new, but rather to remind people of the timeless principles that had once made society great. So, what are the core tenets of Confucianism? At its heart is the concept of Ren, often translated as benevolence or humanness. Ren is the ultimate virtue, the quality of being a compassionate, empathetic, and altruistic person. It's about recognizing the humanity in others and treating them with kindness and respect. Confucius famously articulated this idea in what we now call the Golden Rule, though in a negative form. What you do not wish for yourself, do not do to others. This simple yet profound statement forms the ethical foundation of his entire philosophy. Closely linked to Ren is the concept of Li, which refers to rituals, propriety, and social etiquette. Li isn't just about empty ceremonies, it's the external expression of inner benevolence. It provides a framework for social interactions, defining how people should behave in different roles and relationships. For Confucius, practicing Li, whether it's performing ancestral rites, showing respect to elders, or observing proper court etiquette, was a way to cultivate one's character and maintain social order. By following these prescribed social norms, individuals could internalize the values of respect and harmony, making society function more smoothly. Another key concept is Why, or righteousness. Yi is the moral disposition to do good, the ability to recognize what is right and just in any given situation and to act accordingly. It's the moral compass that guides a person's actions. While Li provides the how of proper conduct, Yi provides the why. A truly virtuous person doesn't just follow the rules blindly, they understand the underlying moral principles and act out of a sense of duty and integrity. These virtues are cultivated through the ideal of the Junzi, or the gentleman or superior person. The Junzi is the Confucian model of the perfect individual. This isn't a status you're born into, it's something you achieve through relentless self-cultivation, education, and moral practice. A Junzi is benevolent, righteous, and wise. They are disciplined, humble, and dedicated to the well-being of their community. For Confucius, the goal of education was not just to acquire knowledge, but to become a Junzi. Confucius believed that society's health depended on the moral character of its leaders. If the ruler was a Junzi, his virtue would radiate outward, inspiring his subjects to be virtuous as well. This is the idea of governing by virtue. He argued that ruling through harsh laws and punishments was ineffective. While it might prevent people from committing crimes out of fear, it wouldn't cultivate a sense of shame or moral character. A virtuous ruler, on the other hand, leads by example, earning the genuine respect and loyalty of the people, who then willingly follow the path of goodness. This created a powerful link between personal ethics and political governance. The family was the primary training ground for these virtues. Confucianism places immense importance on filial piety, or xiaodel, which is the virtue of respect, obedience, and care for one's parents and elders. The family is seen as a microcosm of the state. If you can learn to be a good son, a good daughter, and a good sibling within your family, you will naturally learn how to be a good citizen in society. The 5 key relationships in Confucian thought: ruler and subject, Father and son, husband and wife, older brother and younger brother, and friend, all come with specific obligations and duties that, when fulfilled, create a web of stable and harmonious social bonds. Despite the profoundness of his ideas, Confucius's own life was marked by professional disappointment. He traveled from state to state seeking a ruler who would employ him and put his philosophical principles into practice. But he was largely unsuccessful. The warlords of his time were more interested in military power and political intrigue than in moral cultivation. He spent his later years back in his home state of Lu, teaching a dedicated group of disciples and editing the ancient texts that would become the Confucian classics. It was his disciples who compiled his teachings into a book known as the Analects. This collection of sayings, dialogues, and anecdotes provides the most direct insight we have into Confucius's mind. It's not a systematic philosophical treatise, but rather a series of practical and often very personal reflections on how to live a good life. After his death in 479 BC, it would take centuries for Confucianism to become state orthodoxy. It was during the Han Dynasty, about 300 years later, that Emperor Wu of Han declared Confucianism the official state ideology. Confucian classics became the basis of the civil service examinations, a rigorous system that selected government officials based on their knowledge of Confucian principles. For nearly 2,000 years, anyone who wanted a career in the Chinese bureaucracy had to master the teachings of Confucius. This had a monumental impact. It created a scholar official class that shared a common set of moral and political values. It embedded Confucian ethics deep within the structure of Chinese government and society. The philosophy's influence spread beyond China to Korea, Japan, and Vietnam, where it became a foundational element of their cultures as well. It shaped everything from family structures and social etiquette to art, literature, and political theory across East Asia. Of course, Confucianism has not been without its critics. Over the centuries, it has been blamed for promoting social rigidity, authoritarianism, and patriarchy. During the 20th century, particularly during the May 4th movement and the Cultural Revolution in China, it was aggressively attacked as an obstacle to modernization. However, in recent decades, there has been a significant revival of interest in Confucianism, both in China and around the world. Scholars and ordinary people alike are rediscovering its teachings as a source of ethical guidance and cultural identity. The emphasis on community, respect for elders, the importance of education, and the pursuit of self-improvement still resonate deeply in the modern world. Confucius's legacy is a testament to the enduring power of ideas. A man who considered his own life a failure ended up shaping one of the world's great civilizations. His quest to restore order and virtue in a time of chaos provided a moral compass that has guided billions of people for centuries. By looking back at the wisdom of the past, he created a vision for the future, a vision of a harmonious society built on the foundation of individual goodness. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of Confucius and his philosophy. I hope you found it insightful. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to History of the Ancient World for more journeys into our shared past. Let me know in the comments what ancient thinker you'd like to learn about next. See you in the next one.